Well, someone who is at work right now is the NFL in minicamp, and the big conversation around the Arizona Cardinals this offseason has been Kyler Murray. And there's been a little bit of a drama here. It does feel like it's settled down a little bit, but there is still the conversation of his contract and what they're going to do with it. I agree with you, Kliff. I don't like to waste prayers, but I also am praying that this contract gets done before training camp, because what I don't want to deal with is another Dak Prescott saga. It's the same with Lamar Jackson. I don't like talking about people's contracts. I don't like talking about what people make. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not running them a check, so it really doesn't matter to me what someone is paid. And in this situation, this is a good thing to have to pay for. I never understand why organizations get to the point where they have to pay their quarterback, and then it's this panic reaction of having to pay the quarterback. This is a good thing to have to pay for. It's actually the number one thing you should want to pay for is a franchise quarterback. So this discussion about how much or how long or when are we going to pay him or if you should pay him, you have the guy. What else is there to discuss? Figure the numbers out and get it done. And you're better off getting it done early than dragging it out and losing even more leverage as an organization and having to pay more. I do agree that there is a number that you want to get within. We've used the stats and showed the graphic many times. If your quarterback takes up more than, I think, 12.4% of your salary cap, you're not winning a Super Bowl in the last 11 years. That's a significant amount of time. So there is a number that you want to be within with your franchise quarterback, but paying your franchise quarterback is something you should budget for. Like when you start a family and you're having children and you're planning on, establishing a life, you probably want to be saving for, a home. And then when it's time to buy it, you buy the house. Like that's a good thing to have to buy because you have the family and you've saved for it. You've planned for it. Plan to have to pay for a franchise quarterback. It is a good thing. And when it comes to Kyler Murray, I don't know what the argument and discussion is. You look at the Cardinals record since Kyler has arrived there. And again, before Kyler, it was Josh Rosen. We don't need to revisit how that went for Arizona. In 2019, they were 5-10-1 his first year. Then in 2020, they were 8-8. Then in 2021, they were 9-5, and he missed 3 games. That was his record. They have gotten better every single year with Kyler Murray. Coincidentally, same with Kliff Kingsbury, which is why they gave him an extension. You have your future here. There's not a whole lot to discuss. He's also a dual threat quarterback. He is the immediate future of the Cardinals. Now, when you get into the conversation of how long, what type of contract you want to give him, those are other conversations. And I understand. I wouldn't give him a Patrick Mahomes 10-year deal. I wouldn't even give him a Josh Allen 6-year deal. I think he's somewhere in between Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. That's around the deal that you want to do with Kyler Murray. This anxiety about, is he going to be here for the next 10 or 15 years? Are you going to be there in the next 10 or 15 years? Like the Cardinals are in a position to win within the next 3 to 5 years. That's what you have with Kyler Murray. Figure it out. Get it done. Don't drag this out. And the question when it comes to franchise quarterbacks in the space of a Kyler Murray is, does he have the leadership? Is he completely dedicated? Is he going to have injuries? Okay, these are fair questions, but you have the talent level. So what is the floor or the ceiling, right? That's the conversation. Someone who I always point to with this is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is considered to be completely average, right? He's made a lot of money, but he's not somebody that everyone thinks is really elite, and he's not terrible. What's happened with Washington since they franchise tagged him twice and gave him $44 million guaranteed in those years? He's gone 33-29-1. Totally average. What's Washington done since Kirk Cousins left the building? Let's take a look. They've gone through 10 quarterbacks in 4 years, not including Carson Wentz. The record is 24-41. That's the seventh worst in the league during that time. So you can be completely average and pay a guy a lot, or you can be above average to great, which Kyler Murray is in that conversation, and pay him a lot. Pay your quarterback. There's been some reports about where Baker may end up. He is not at mandatory minicamp. He has an excused absence from the team. Obviously, he is still rehabbing, and it doesn't make sense for him to be there if Deshaun Watson is there, which he is. But the Carolina Panthers have been the most consistent rumored suitor for Baker Mayfield. And the kind of consensus on how this thing is going to play out is that everyone should just be patient and waiting to find out what Cleveland's going to do and not spend any money or spend any picks on Baker Mayfield, because they may end up having to cut him after all. And why would you give something, or you pay for something that you could eventually just get for free? However, the new report about the situation makes a lot of sense to me. So Jonathan Jones of CBS Sports reported that obviously the main sticking point with the Panthers is that they want the Browns to absorb as much of Baker's salary as possible because they are paying Sam Darnold $19 million. But there is a sense of urgency with Carolina to get the deal done soon to have Baker Mayfield in camp. Now, Baker Mayfield is still rehabbing from his injury, but it would make sense that you'd want Baker in the building. If you're going to bring Baker Mayfield in, he is essentially going to be your franchise quarterback. We've all seen enough of Sam Darnold to know that he's not the future, but they might just have to run it with him this year because he's there. If you do make the move for Baker, you'd want him to have some familiarity with the building, start, building relationships, which has been kind of an issue for Baker Mayfield with some people. I wouldn't be desperate if you're the Panthers, but it does make sense that they would have a little bit of urgency about getting Baker in the building, getting him around everyone, start going over, the system, do things that you can do while you're rehabbing to get familiar with the organization if they're going to make that move. Again, I wouldn't be desperate if I'm any team in this situation when it comes to Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo, because I think they're both going to be on the market for free very soon. But it does make sense that they would want to get that deal done sooner than later.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.